In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 2 of The Old Man. The Old Man stars Jeff Bridges as Dan Chase and John Lithgow as Howard Harper. It is based on the 2017 novel of the same name by Thomas Perry, and the show is created by Jonathan E. Steinberg and Robert Levine, and this second episode was directed by John Watts, who directed the Marvel Spider-Man trilogy movies. Now, after the events of the first episode, we're trying to figure out what Dan Chase is, who he is, and, he's just this badass who just, does his own thing after he's being hunted and is caught, but escapes. And, these operatives that are chasing him were, trying to figure out who is this old man? Well, Howard Harper, in a way, is kind of helping Dan Chase. Not only that, Howard Harper goes to visit Morgan Boat. And we're like, okay, who Morgan Boat? What is this? It's like Harold Harper's friend, but also knows the history between the two of them, of Dan Chase and Harold Harper. And Morgan Boat is played by Joel Grey, Academy Award winner Joel Grey, who won an Oscar for Cabaret. It was great to see him in this as a cameo really quickly. I mean, he just gives a nice dialogue scene with John Lithgow as he's just painting something on his canvas. It's so pristine, it's so well done. And the aspect of seeing, what this character goes through with John Lithgow and Harold Harper, it's like trying to figure out, like, okay, what is the history between you and Dan Chase? The episode does start off with a flashback between Dan Chase and Harold Harper as they were young, and we find out a little bit why Dan Chase did what he had to do. And Harold Harper told him, this is only certain things. I can't back you up anymore. I shouldn't be out here. It's dangerous for me to be out here. So that switches back to Jeff Bridges, being on the run, so to speak, after the events of the very first episode. There's this guy, Waters, who's really, really nitpicky, I want to say. And by nitpicky, I mean he is just like asking too many questions when he shouldn't ask too many questions. I'm still trying to figure his character out. Not too sure where he stands or what he is. I feel like he's like the son of one of the villains, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Now, not only that, Dan Chase, Jeff Bridges' character, rents a room or a guest house from someone, and we find out that this house was actually someone else's ex's house, and it's Amy Brenneman's Zoe McDonald's character who comes into the fold. She has a weird history about herself in this second episode. Trying to figure out what, is going on. We find out that her and her husband split up. The son's in college. She's trying doing all she can to pay up to date with her mortgage payments, and the ex-husband is shortening her on alimony payments. Her son can't take certain exams because certain checks bouncing. So Jeff Bridges' character Dan Chase is really this humbling old man, so to speak, no pun intended, and he just cooks for her, and she says a little thing where every time something was wrong in my life when I was little, my mom always used to stop something, whatever she was doing, and make me scrambled eggs. It used to soothe me a lot. And so Jeff Bridges just looking at it, okay. And it's interesting because Amy Brenneman's character actually asks Jeff Bridges' character out for a night, and then all of a sudden she gets into this story about what's happening with her past, and then it's really eerie. It's just the camera's just set on her, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And Jeff Bridges' character, being Jeff Bridges' character, he's like, no, none of this was your fault or anything like that. So that happens, and then as they go and they leave, they enter a checkpoint, and the cops tell them to come out of the vehicle. Here's so forth and so forth. And then that moves on to the next scene. This episode wasn't as interesting as the first. We had a low-key moment, I feel like, with this second episode, because we're just getting introduced to Amy Brenneman's character of Zoe. That character basically just took up mostly all of the episode. The first episode, as I stated in my episode 1 review of The Old Man, is an hour and a half long. This episode, episode 2, is also an hour and a half long. Some might find it boring because, like I said, the dialogue, the pacing is really slow. But behind the slowness, there's a story. You have to really pay attention to each dialogue aspect that each character talks about and what the history is between everything going on. Because Dan Chase, like I said, is a former CIA operative. What happened with him and his wife, what's going on with him and his daughter. All of a sudden we have Zoe McDonald now, Amy Brenneman, and what is Harold Harper actually trying to do? And who's actually behind the revenge of Dan Chase? Something happened 3 decades ago that we don't know what happened just yet. But it's going to be interesting to find out what that is. I mean, seeing Jeff Bridges in a role like this is great. He's always usually doing comedy or drama, but him doing a thriller or kind of action/thriller series is really, really good. This is an episodic series, and I'm curious to see what happens in the next couple of episodes. Just maybe we get that interesting aspect of what's going on. And I do recommend you read the 2017 novel of the same name by Thomas Perry called The Old Man. You might get a little bit of information and the history about what's going on, but some things they kept in the book, or for this show for that matter, and some things they took out just to add more interest to it. So I do want to say, if you are a fan of Jeff Bridges, if you're a fan of thriller series, and if you like slow pace, espionage, spy, CIA, FBI thrillers, and if you love John Lithgow, and if you're curious to see how this story goes, check The Old Man out. It's a great, great show. I'm praising it right now, and I'm curious to see how well it does, and if there is a season 2, but let's hold on and let's pump the brakes because we're only on the 2nd episode. Like I stated, there was a 2-episode premiere on June 16th, 2022 on FX, and this show airs on Hulu the next day. So you can binge it on Hulu, the first 2 episodes of The Old Man. And like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 2 of The Old Man. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Where do you see this character, Dan Chase, going? What do you think that so-called history is between what he did? And do you trust the character of Zoe McDonald? And do you actually think Harold Harper is actually trying to help Dan Chase, or trying to get under this whole little kind of unopened envelope of secrets? Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and be sure you tune in to the next review video, and I'll see you guys next week for my episode 3 review of The Old Man.